Alright then guys, welcome back to the channel. Now if this is the first time watching any of my videos, please do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe and leave your comments in the section below because I want to know what you think about this one. Guys, serious question, where is Anthony Yarde? Look, I think Anthony Yarde's career has been the most frustrating one, I must say. I really like Anthony Yarde. I think he's exciting. I think, he's got a lot of energy in the ring. I think, the light heavyweight landscape in the UK is the best it's been in years. We've got great fighters in there, all right? And I think Anthony Yarde is at the top of that pile, but he needs to prove it. And he's not doing that. Anthony Yarde's career is up and down. His fight activity is really, really poor. So Anthony Yarde fights the likes of Kovalev. And then he has a fight that nobody knows about. Obscure fighters with really bad records. And then he fights, Beterbiev, which he put up a valiant effort, but ultimately lost. It's a good fight. And then he goes missing. And then he fights someone that nobody knows. And then he will then fight someone, a big name, put a good effort, and then goes missing, and then nobody sees him anymore, and then he comes again. His career has been a stop-start, and it's really irritating because I think he's someone that if he is as consistent as he can be in boxing, he would convert a lot of people. He would, definitely put up some really, really good performances where his name will be down as one of the best boxers of his generation in the light heavyweight division. But I don't think he's doing enough. I've just seen a video of him on TalkSport with Simon Jordan and Spencer Oliver where he's talking about how he's a free agent. Of course, as you guys know, he's left Frank Warren. There was a bit of a court. I think there's a court dispute there, whether Yarde's contract has ended, whether he had one more fight with Frank and so forth. Right. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of that because I think there's just a legal things that has nothing to do with boxing. I just want to see boxers fight in a boxing ring. Right. Anthony Yarde is wasting time. He's 32. Yeah, boxing is a short window of opportunity of a career. He can't have a career where he's up and down, not having consistency in terms of fighting, not fighting the best of his generation in his in his weight class. He needs to do something. And then Tunde Ajayi was also on TalkSport basically saying that Anthony Yarde is a free agent. And then the big question was why Anthony Yarde and Joshua Buatsi have not got it on. And Tunde Ajayi kept saying that Anthony Yarde always wanted to fight, basically insinuating that Joshua Buatsi did not want to fight. So if you look at it, Anthony Yarde should be on these Riyadh season cards because boxing is at a time where is the best right now, right? Fighters are fighting very often. Big fights are being made. There's lots of money in boxing. Why is Anthony Yarde not fighting? So it's something that Anthony Yarde needs to be really careful about because you don't want to finish your career and regret not having some fights. Fighting with the higher and better fighters and then fighting lower positions doesn't help with your growth and your development as a fighter. So Anthony Yarde, Tunde Ajayi, they need to start moving. They need to start getting fights because the boxing public is starting to think Anthony Yarde is not serious and he's not putting in the work and he's not doing enough to get those fights. So I think that's something that they need to look at there. So look, let me know what you think about Anthony Yarde's career so far. Do you, like me, think he's got a lot of potential and could win a world championship, but needs more activity, needs to be more forthcoming, needs to be more consistent in his career? let me know in the comment section below. Gervonta Davis. What is the deal with Gervonta Davis? In his next fight versus Lamont Roach, which he had the press conference about 2 days ago, said he was going to retire in 2025. Now, basically, his reason why he wanted to retire is because he said he wants to go to therapy, and he's got young children that he wants to look after, but he can't do that whilst he's in boxing. Now, this is a valid reason if you want to retire, because I think boxing is a really difficult sport, right? Mentally, physically, I'm sure it has a lot of effects on these fighters. And so if you can leave boxing as early as you can, fantastic. If you've made a lot of money, leave the sport, because it is a dangerous sport. But for Gervonta Davis, he says that if he's in boxing, he's not gonna be able to have the therapy that he needs. And I can see that, because if you're training, if you're having interviews, if you're having press conferences, you're going to be provoked. You're going to say things that you don't want to say. Boxing is a fighting sport at the end of the day. So you're going to be angry. You're going to be agitated. You want to take someone's head off. All of that probably does not help him. Maybe it was kids. So it is a valid point to make, because he's probably thinking about it, his relationship with his kids and being there for them, and that's all great, right? But if Gervonta Davis was to retire in 2025, what is his legacy? What is Gervonta Davis's legacy? Because he has not fought the fights that he needs to fight in his generation. He has not fought the fighters, his contemporaries. He has not fought them. He didn't fight Lomachenko. He hasn't fought Teofimo Lopez. He hasn't fought Shakur Stevenson. He hasn't fought Devin Haney. Right? He hasn't unified a belt. He's got a championship, but he's never unified one. He's been fighting some really, decent fighters, but not at the top where we want to see him fight. So if he was to retire next year, I don't think that his career goes anything beyond being a good fighter, a world champion. He never unified a belt. We need boxers at the top level to be unifying with each other. That's how the sport develops and grows. So, look, I think I wouldn't say unfortunate, but I think it's an interesting thing to look at, because if he retires, his career does not go any further than just being a decent fighter who won the championship. Of course, he's a massive draw, pay-per-view draw, right, in the US. He brings a lot of money, he makes a lot of money in the sport, but I don't think he's going to go on and be anything more than just a decent fighter if he retires, right? But of course, in that press conference, he calls out Teofimo Lopez, he calls out Shakur Stevenson. He said he's going to slap Teofimo Lopez, criticizes, Shakur Stevenson. Seems like he's got a bit between his teeth, and he's an exciting fighter, Gervonta Davis. I want him to stay in the sport because I think he's exciting, but I need him to fight his contemporaries. I need him to fight his rivals. I need him to fight the best in his weight class. So look, I don't think he's going to retire. I think it's all just talk. I think he's probably going to do what Mayweather does, where he retires for some months, then comes back and fight, and then retires again. If that's the route that he want to go to, then he probably want to go to the Mayweather route, where these modern fighters don't want to lose fights, and that's what it's becoming now. Don't want to lose fights, so just in and out, and then retires with an unbeaten record, which doesn't mean anything, right? There's no harm in losing a boxing fight. That's where the elite fighters are made, who dares to fight the best of the best in a weight class. So I think it's all just talk. I don't think he's retiring, but it's really interesting to see someone like him say what he's saying about therapy and having time for his kids. I think it's something that boxers need to maybe think about. We saw in that fight between Galal Yafai and Sonny Edwards, where Sonny Edwards in the ring said that he doesn't want to be in the ring, he doesn't want to be in the fight, and that is where a fighter is not switched on, right? He's not switched on, he's not there mentally, physically, and he shouldn't be in there, because anything can happen. So look, I want him to fight his contemporaries, but if his retiring next year because of his family, then that's up to him. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section about these two topics. Anthony Yarde going missing his whole career, and then Javonte Davis saying he's retiring. What do you think about it? What are your opinions? Put it in the comment section below. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. We're trying to grow the channel and get more people involved. So I love to get you guys involved as well. So keep subscribing, keep liking, and I'll see you guys in the next one.